How's it going, everyone? This is George, aka the Hypothetical Gamer, and today I'm actually just wanted to bring you guys my deck profile for Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade. I got top 100 with it, and I got my first invite with it, so I'm super stoked. And I really like this deck, and I think it's a ton of fun. I think it's pretty solid. It is kind of a glass cannon, but there are definitely ways to alleviate that, and I think there's things that people are missing. So I really just wanted to highlight a lot of a couple of the choices that I made, the couple of meta calls that I made, and that kind of took me to my top and my first invite. So yeah, let's just get on to it. Let's get on with the main deck. So main deck is 3 copies of Fractal. So these are the Tri-Brigade ratios. 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Fractal, 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Karas, 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Nerval, and then 2 copies of Tri-Brigade Kits. The reason why I'm playing these ratios in particular is the reason why I'm only playing 2 Kit is because Kit is the only one that doesn't do anything on its own. In at least in this version, Kit's really good, but it just doesn't do anything on its own. Fractal just loads up your grave on its own. Nerval, you can make Linkuriboh and get your plays started. Just normal summon it and make Linkuriboh and search a Karas, and then that way you get going. And then Karas is how you play through like hand traps and whatnot. This card, being able to discard Tri-Beast to grave and just get searches, get a bunch of stuff going. So that's what that does. So that's why we're playing those ratios. Oops. And then for the Lyrilusc engine, I cut down on it a little bit in comparison to everyone else. I'm playing 3 turquoise, 1 cobalt, and 1 sapphire. The reason why I only decided to play 1 cobalt is because really I just wanted it for combo. The issue with Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade is you get a lot of your hands start to clog up with a lot of your bricks. Right now, this variant's only playing 5 bricks, and that's Driver, Stormwinds, Oath, Rendezvous, and Sapphire Swallow. This one drawing it isn't too bad, but still, that's kind of how it is there. So you really just want to minimize on what you're playing brick-wise, just so you can open up playable as much as possible. So that's why I decided to play these ratios. And of course, 3 turquoise being basically Cyber Dragon for the deck and a free summon out of hand is really nice. Then I played, of course, 3 Rescue Cat. Some builds are cutting down on this. The reason why I decided to play 3 is, for 1, you just want to open as consistent as possible. 2, I'm not playing Prosperity. If I was playing Prosperity, maybe I consider cutting down on one of this and then one of something else to go ahead and make room for it. But the reason why I'm playing these is because I'm not playing Prosperity, so I need to open this card. Plus, it's sometimes the best hand trap bait, where if you open Insane with like Fractal and Warbler and whatnot, you can just normal summon this. Effect, Ash. Okay, and then I get to play the game now. Then for the some more targets, I only played the Barrier Statue of Stormwinds. The reason why I didn't play Apex Avian is, again, just because it's too bricky. I don't want to open up all my bricks. I just want to see playable as much as I possibly can. And this going first or second is really nice. Apex Avian being in hand going second is terrible. You can't summon it off of your statue. Like, you can't summon it off of certain things. So this you could at least summon off of like a Farajet. This you can just summon off your statue and you can get yourself out of statue lock, or just sit on this, because sometimes decks like Eldritch, you can literally just sit on this and they can't play the game. So that's why I only decided to play that. Plus, once again, with like Apex Avian, I really did not miss it. It was just an extra negate on top of a multi-negate board. So it was more win more, from what I could tell. And then for hand traps, in the main, I only played 3 Droll, and then, of course, the 3 Gamma and the 1 Driver. Gamma is insane in this deck. They Ash any of your starters. You're pretty much Gammaing them, and you're forcing them to go neg 2. But Droll is just a catch-all of this format. You hit every single deck with Droll. You hit every single tier 1 deck, so you hit Shaddolls to some degree. You hit, You hit Dinos, you hit Dragon Link, you hit Dogmatica, you hit Invoked. Interestingly enough, with Shaddolls, you Droll, or if they activate Nadir, send App Clone, and then App Clone effect, you can chain Droll and they just have to send back their App Clone. So their graveyard is dead, and then they just have to set whatever else they have in their hand and pass. And sometimes it's just a bunch of buffs. So really, that's why this card's so good. It works against every other, like every tier 2 deck. It works against this. It works against everything. So Droll is just so good, especially with Prosperity being a card now. So many decks playing it. You just troll on Prosperity, and then sometimes it just ends their turn. So that's why I decided to play that. And then we're on to spells now. So I decided to play, of course, 3 Tenki, just to get your Fractal and get your play started. And then also in the main, I played 2 copies of Book of Moon. This card was insane this past weekend. I was able to just Book of Moon stuff attacking over statue. I was able to go second against decks and just Book of Moon like their Golden Lord or whatnot so that their cards don't resolve. I was able to just Book of Moon like random problem cards like Herald of Arclight. I was able to do that. I was able to just deal with like Gossip Shadow. I've been able to do so, or just deal with so many random cards that are just a problem. Like a Trident, I'm able to go ahead and Book of Moon, like just things that are just in my way. I can at least 1-for-1. Like it's really good. And then for the 1-ofs, I played 1-for-1 Foolish Burial, Rendezvous, and Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave just because you don't want to get hit by Lancia. Rendezvous just to protect like all your linked Tri-Beast. I was able to use this to protect them from Torrential Tribute and then make Access Code no TK. So this card's really nice. It's a mandatory card to play, honestly, because it's what makes Fractal 1 card statue plus protection. And sometimes that's all you need to just win a game. So, and then of course Foolish Burial and 1-for-1. You can summon Sparrow if you open like Sapphire Swallow or something, or Nerval. And then you could just go ahead and search Sapphire Swallow, summon 2 guys, and you have full combo there. This card just kind of unbricks your hand. It makes your hand insane. And then Foolish Burial, just another copy of Fractal in the deck because it's your best Tri-Brigade. And then for traps, I played Oath. There was a lot of times where I was sending this over Rendezvous, just if like a deck. There's a good amount of going second decks this format. So you have like Dinos, you have sometimes like Invoked will go second, Invoked Mech Knights, and they're playing stuff like Mystic Mine and Dark Roar in the main. So this is how you deal with that. If Dinos activate Mystic Mine on you, you go ahead and you, during their end phase, you banish your Oath, and then you target their Mystic Mine with double Dragon Lords, and then bounce it back to hand, and then you go end phase, Simorgh, summon whatever you need, and then you just play on the next turn because they don't have Mystic Mine up, and then they just screwed themselves. Because sometimes they just went terraforming to search it, and they just wasted their search for their Lost World. So there's that. And then I also played 3 copies of Tri-Brigade Revolt. Now, this is still kind of a slowish format where disruption is really key. So there will be a point where you can't break the entire board, but you've reduced their follow-up enough. And so you have cards like this. Where you can summon back summon back a bunch of Tri-Brigade monsters. Your banish pile and your graveyard is loaded, or your banish pile is loaded, your graveyard is empty. Summon back a bunch. Summon Shureg, banish a card, and then you send off Kit, add off Nerval, you get follow-up. So that is something that this deck kind of lacks, is follow-up after you've broken the board. But this card is what helps give it. People never expected this against Dragon Link. They made Appaloosa, and I was just like, okay. They dealt with my statue. They Dark Roared me, actually. They Dark Roared me, dealt with my statue, and I was just like, okay. Activated Revolt in response to their on some of their LP that's underneath Appaloosa. Banished their Appaloosa, didn't have a zone for LP, and then they just sat with Gamma and LP on board, and then I just killed them on the following turn. So this card's really nice. Being able to chain block like a Shureg banish is really nice. Being able to chain block searches is really good too. You could summon Fairjet, Kit, Nerval, go 4 Chain Link Steep. So that card's really insane. And then we're on to extra deck. So for extra deck, we played 2 copies of Fairjet. 1 Rugal, and then 2 copies of Shureg. So Fairjet, obviously, you need to play that. You need to play it for combo. Shureg, you want to play 2 because you want 1 for combo, 1 for the follow-up, or 1 to help break boards, 1 for revolt. You have a bunch of different things you could do with it. And then Reroll, a lot of people decide to cut this for something like Desperate Doom Eagle. The reason why I didn't is because there were instances where I was able to go ahead, or after they cleared my board, we got into like a grind game and I needed to set up interruption to some degree. So you go ahead and you summon this, and then you go ahead and you summon Rugal. And then on your opponent's turn, you go Rugal effect, and then you banish something off Shureg. So that's the reason why you play that. And then on top of it, being able to summon this off a guy, off of like a fractal and whatnot, make this into access code, that's game. So that's over 8k damage. So that's why you play it. And then, of course, the Simorgan Linkuriboh to protect your statue, and Simorg, obviously, to summon your statue off of that. And then we also played double Dragon Lords and Heartbeat Conductor. This just gets you out of statue lock, and just it's another like wing beast to summon. So you could normal summon Kit, banish 2 guys, summon this, make some more, send Rendezvous, and you have statue with protection there. And then double Dragon Lords, 1 to protect your statue, 2 to bounce stuff. I found myself going second and bouncing stuff with this, and it just worked. It put like cards in my graveyard, like a Rendezvous or an Oath or something like that I really wanted in there. So that's why I played that. Sorry. And then for Link 4s, I played Access Code and Appaloosa. Access Code is nuts in this deck. I was able to go ahead, like I said, and just pump this up by 4k, and then you have a ton of damage out of nowhere. And then Appaloosa, just being able to make this, it's also a win, so it gets you out of statue. A lot of instances, if you see me play, I'll go ahead and summon this off of like a Nerval that is summoned off of Simorg. Use this, my statue, and then Nerval to make Appaloosa for 3. So I'll do that a lot of the time, and then that just gets you out of your statue lock, so you can go ahead and kill your opponent. So that's nice, and then on top of it, it's just extra negates. So then finally, for the XZ package, I played Nightingale, Recital, Starling, and Zeus, and then I also played the 1 Omega. So Recital, obviously combo, Nightingale going against big boars. Like I said earlier, this deck kind of has problems with dealing with large established boards. For one, you don't want to be playing blind in the back row. 2, you don't want to be getting rid of you can only pop so much off of like access code, for instance. 3, like you only have so many ways to actually like clear a board. Like Dragon Link, you have Levianeer, and then you have like Boral Sword, so you can just chew through boards just like that. This deck, however, all you have is really access code, double Dragon Lords, and Shureg. So you 1 for 1 and you banish a bunch of materials. This, with the Lyrilusc engine, just simplifies the game state. So if you're going up against a single destruction, you're going up against like, I don't know, Dogmatic or whatever. They don't have Fleur. They weren't able to set up like specifically. You go ahead and you just summon this. They chain punishment to the summon. You chain its effect to detach. It can't be destroyed. And then you just go ahead and attack direct. And then you slap down Zeus, and then you just play the game from there. So that's why you play those. And then, of course, Omega. Sorry. Omega to go ahead and there's instances where your opponent like ashes your fractal, which is correct, but then you gamma them and then you're trying to set up full board. You just have to synchro into this just to clear up your board, and then summon like your Lyrilusc monsters to make that engine live. So that's why you play that. And then for side deck, we played 3 copies of Lancia, Artifact Lancia. This card's really good right now. It hits pretty much anything. Dragon Link going second has trouble dealing with this card. Dinos, Dogmatica, Invoked, a bunch of tier 2 decks, this deck in particular. So Lancia is really good. Then we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom. This was changed. So this is originally 2 Ash, and then I played 3 Phantasme and 2 Nib, and I felt afterwards that wasn't correct because I really wanted to see this card in certain instances, and I just didn't. So this helps. The reason why I'm siding Ash and not maining it is because it just doesn't do enough against a lot of decks. So yes, it works against Dinos. Yes, it works against like Prank Kids and whatnot. Yes, it works against Shaddolls, but other than that, like Ash, you're just one for winning with them. And really, that's not good in the end of the day. Like if you ash Alistair, they just make secure Gardna, and then they just go on with their Dogmatica engine. So that's the issue with that. But this is really nice in certain matchups, like Dinos, for instance, where you get Ash Misk. So that's good. And then 3 never upset seeing this card. Like I said, just makes the board smaller, makes it easier to deal with. So that's why you play Nib for all the combo decks. And then for back row, I was playing Reboot, Feather Duster, and then Pankratops, and then 2 copies of Twin. Twin is just better, I think. I think it's really good right now. You can go standby phase Twin Twisters and just deal with like random cards like Pandemonium. You deal with like random cards like, or you can deal with pretty much anything at that point. You can go standby phase Twin Twisters, deal with the Eldritch engine, and then just summon Statue, and then you just don't care about it. You can do like, you can hit like a Sinister Shadow Games and a Punishment, and they can't chain to it because there's nothing on board. So that's why you do it. Plus, I prefer to play the Twin over the Cosmic just because you can ditch like a Nerval, and then you can get that engine live. You can just load up your grave more. And really, banishing back row, I don't really care about this format. The only cards that I care about banishing are the Eldritch cards. And really, this deck deals with Eldritch really easy because they can't really deal with Barrier Statue. So that's why I'm playing Twin. And plus, against like Pranktids, you get rid of a Pandemonium and you get rid of something else too at the same time. So that's why you're playing that. And then Pankratops just deals with, it's just really nice to side in against literally anything. You'd side this against Dragon Link, and it takes care of 2 interruptions for you. So that card's the MVP. And then finally, just for going first, 1 Imperial Order. I couldn't really think of anything else to put here. And there wasn't really anything else that made sense. So being able to side this in going first just has another out. Just you find another out for Dark Roller. You find another out for Mystic Mine. You find another out for Lightning Storm for all those cards. So that's why I'm playing the 1 Imperial Order on the side. And yeah, that's about it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I would really appreciate it. And if you have anything to say in that regard with the deck profile, feel free to comment below. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to trying new stuff, and so if you guys have any suggestions, feel free to leave them below. Check out Team Pie for Life. They just did actually my profile, or they just did my profile, and they did some other cool ones recently, like Bill Way. Shout out to him, by the way. He's actually a really good player. He got second with going second Sky Striker. Shout outs to their team member Sean Pittman for topping with Prank Kids. Shout out to everyone on that team. You guys all help me with this deck. You guys all help me with the ratios. All help to give me criticism and whatnot. Especially Kyle, I was able to go to you for a bunch of different things. So honestly, thank you guys so much. Yeah. Have a great night, everyone.